Hi everyone, #1 Marmaduke fan here. The purpose of this video is to be a full walkthrough for fans of Deltarune who have completed Chapter 1 on their own at least once and are curious to find subtle details they missed. Of course, spoiler warning for Deltarune, but I am going to be considerate of people who would like to read jokes and learn about the characters in this game. When I talk about a secret that I think you might not want spoiled, I will tell you how to find the secret and tell you a little bit about what the secret is, but I won't spoil all the details, especially if it's a funny joke or an adorable scene between the characters you might want to read on your own. If you do want spoilers, I will link to all my footage of these scenes, or to other YouTubers who have footage, in the description below. Also, YouTuber DPadGaming has a great video with some of the biggest Easter eggs in the game. My goal is to be a bit more thorough and show you more subtle secrets, but I would recommend his video, and if you watch DPadGamer's vid, let him know I sent you and I appreciate his work. Since he did such a good job in his video, I will briefly mention secrets he discussed, but I won't go into exhaustive detail about them. Obviously, in a game with so much content, I can't talk about every single gag and piece of flavor text Toby Fox wrote. However, I want this video to be the definitive guide to finding missable moments in Deltarune. My general advice is to do two things if you want to avoid missing things the next time you play Deltarune Chapter 1. First, make sure you talk to every character at least 2 times before progressing. You will often miss fun dialogue if you advance too quickly. Second, backtrack frequently, both before and after Susie officially joins your party. If you follow that general advice, you'll get to read most of the game's content in one playthrough, but there are notable exceptions of things you will miss unless you restart or play through the game multiple times. Because there are still so many secrets, even when we narrow it down to just the ones you can easily miss, this walkthrough is going to have to be divided into a series. If you like Part 1, please consider subscribing and clicking the bell to be notified of Part 2. I will credit all YouTubers who discovered secrets I didn't discover on my own in the description below. First, the naming sequence at the beginning of the game. Several YouTubers have covered this well, and DPadGaming has great info on it in his video, so I won't repeat that here. Next, when you awaken in Toriel's house as Chris, almost everything in the house gives you fun flavor text about Chris and Asriel's upbringing. The easiest things to miss are Toriel's dialogue when you call her twice on the cell phone. DPadGaming mentioned the toilet gag. Flush the toilet 9 times for some funny comments from Toriel. If you have beaten the game once, you will be able to go back to bed and skip the opening story sequence, jumping right into the main game. I have confirmed this will not work if you haven't beaten the game at least once. After Toriel brings you to school, you have an opportunity to talk to your classmates, almost all of whom have 2 pieces of dialogue. If you say no to the reindeer, Noelle, twice, she'll act like you're a weirdo. After you ask to join Noelle's group, Susie bursts in and you are asked to go help her fetch chalk. Every one of your classmates and the teacher will have additional dialogue if you talk to them again. Most of them joke darkly about how Susie will probably beat you up. If you talk to Noelle twice, her dialogue foreshadows something important about her character later in the game. If you talk to Snowy, the owl who talks like a cowboy, he has a second piece of dialogue you might miss. I'll talk about the importance of this in my upcoming theory video on Chris and Asriel. After Susie threatens to beat you up, you could try to run away, you could try to run to the children's classroom, or you can try to drink from the fountain. All 3 result in Susie making fun of you and commenting on how slow you walk when you finally follow her. However, if you press the X button to dash and outrun her, she will have a different comment on how fast you run, but she will still bully you. Also, don't miss the gag for checking all the lockers. Susie makes more comments anytime you try to run away from her. After you 2 get lost in the supply closet, you travel to another dimension. If you skip the opening cutscenes by staying in bed, or if you skipped over dialogue quickly, there will be a glowing light with a wrist protector. It lets you skip dialogue by pressing C, so this is an essential item for speedrunners. It does not appear if you slowly read all the text, but I'm unsure what specifically triggers it in the game. Pretty much if you go fast and skip all the dialogue, you will be sure to get it. The glowing shard is a missable item if you don't get it before going down the second slide. You will need it for some of the optional dialogue in the game. After you discover Susie hidden in the dust bush, there are 3 possible options. You can walk slowly forward, you can dash forward quickly, or you can run in the wrong direction. Susie makes fun of you for a different reason depending on which you do and runs off anyway. After escaping the mysterious bad guy's attacks, you'll find yourself in an underground town. Susie has a funny comment if you talk to her twice here before entering the castle. Most of the save points have funny or character-relevant comments, so always save unless you are going for a no-save run. When the cloaked figure appears, you can choose to listen to the prophecy or skip it. If you choose to skip the prophecy, do not skip over the dialogue. It is hilarious. In the first fight with the mysterious bad guy, Lancer, it's good to start remembering to always warn enemies about Susie if you don't want her to mess up your pacifist run. If you compliment Lancer 3 times, his attack goes up, then down, then gets confused and goes sideways. If you let him hit you after his attack power goes sideways, the damage count will actually appear sideways on your screen. After the cloaked figure reveals himself to be Prince Ralsei, Susie will leave and Ralsei will join your party. If you check the closed door, Ralsei will make a cute comment that might also foreshadow something important when the full game is released. Unless doing a no-save run, walk, do not run to the save point immediately after Ralsei joins your team. If you remember to walk slowly, Ralsei will ask you if you know how to run. There are 2 possible answers, and both are cute jokes, which reveal Ralsei's sweet personality. If you remember to save and not run with Ralsei, you can see both without resetting the whole game. When you enter the room with the dummy, you have the option to do a tutorial on fighting, and there are a lot of options here. DPadGaming mentioned how you can hug Ralsei, but I have found 8 funny things that you can do to troll Ralsei in this fight. If you save right before this, you can see all of them easily. If you do the tutorial fight, there are a few very minor differences in Ralsei's dialogue, depending on whether you do well or poorly with dodging and attacking. And there's some dialogue for if you do a couple steps out of order. There are also a few times where he will use the same line of dialogue to praise you, but it gets funnier because he's complimenting you after you've screwed up a bunch of times. However, the 8 ways to troll Ralsei usually require you to follow the right steps or they will not work. I'm going to call this list the Let's Mess with Poor Ralsei's Fuzzy Fluffy Head. Number 1, try to attack the dummy every single turn, but miss it on purpose every single time. It is hilarious. Do not do anything other than miss attacks, and Ralsei will end the fight after 10 turns. If you quit doing this after 9 turns, the fight will progress like any other fight. Number 2, try to attack and hit the dummy every single turn. Ralsei stops you after 6 turns, and his dialogue is kind of heartbreaking. Number 3, if you remember to get the Glowshard earlier, you can use the Glowshard in battle. If you use it 5 times in a row, Ralsei gives up, and his comments are hilarious. However, after ending the fight, Ralsei will still praise you as if you completed the tutorial normally. Number 4, starting with the first turn, try defending 5 times in a row. This will also result in some unique funny dialogue. Number 5, if you spare the dummy 4 times in a row, starting from the beginning of the fight, Ralsei's dialogue is cute and unique, but he will not end the fight. However, the results are different if you hug the dummy on the first turn and then spare it 3 times in a row. Ralsei will notice that you technically have won the fight, even though you're skipping over a lot of stuff that he actually wants to teach you. Number 6, hugging the dummy. If you hug the dummy right at the beginning of the fight, Ralsei's reaction is different than if you wait until he tells you to hug the dummy. If you hug the dummy on the first turn, you can only hug it twice in a row before Ralsei will start repeating dialogue. He will not end the fight. If you wait until Ralsei asks you to hug the dummy, you can hug it 3 times in a row to get different dialogue, but Ralsei will also not end the fight. Number 7, hugging Ralsei. If you hug Ralsei 4 times in a row, it's one of the most adorable scenes in the game. He will not end the fight, and this seems to work no matter when I do it during the fight. Number 8, messing around with Ralsei's pacify spells. This is one of the easiest ones for you to miss if you're not careful. If you save up enough TP, you could ask Ralsei to perform Heal Prayer instead of Pacify, and he'll comment that using that spell works great too, so long as you haven't been screwing around with him otherwise. If you are screwing around and repeatedly ignoring him, asking him to perform the wrong spell might make him give up and move on to the next part of the tutorial. You get the funny dialogue option by asking Ralsei to use the Glowshard or to spare the dummy 4 times in a row. Ralsei has some funny dialogue where he gets confused about humans if you do this. As long as you don't push Ralsei to the point where he ends the fight, you can try more than one of these in a single fight. With the exception of reusing the Glowshard, Ralsei will always apologize if you end the tutorial by being stupid. If you skip the tutorial entirely, Ralsei will get embarrassed. After he gives you the manual, you have the option to throw it away. The first time, there is a cute typo where Ralsei mentions that you accidentally dropped it. Please, Toby Fox, do not fix this typo. I want accidentally to be the canon pronunciation for Ralsei. Throwing the book away a second time results in a heartbreaking comment from Ralsei. By the way, a commenter asked me if this changes if you wait until Ralsei is apart from you, and I tested this in the elevator scene. Even if Ralsei is not in the room, he will still comment as if he's right next to you if you try to throw away the manual. I'm guessing Ralsei is programmed to respond anytime you try to throw away the manual, even if he's not right beside you. This concludes the first part of the game. Next, I will cover optional dialogue you may have missed in the second part of the game. I either have footage myself for all the scenes I mentioned, or I have linked you to YouTubers who have gotten footage of them. You have my permission to use my Deltarune footage in your own videos and fan projects. I would appreciate a link back to my channel if you do use something from one of my videos. If I missed something, let me know in the comment section, and I will add it to a video titled PS Things I Missed. I have a playlist of content I've discovered in Deltarune. Thank you for playing this game and for your feedback. I hope to have a lot of great content you'll enjoy once I've finished exploring Deltarune, including a theory video with my perspective on the story and Chris's character. If you want to be notified when those videos come out, please subscribe and click the bell, and YouTube will send you a notification when I have something new. If you enjoy this video, a like is always appreciated, and I try to read all of your comments. With that, I'm #1 Marmaduke fan. I love you guys, and I'll catch you soon. Boop 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 boop. However, after ending the fight, Ralsei will praise you as if you completed the tutorial. Boop 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 boop.